Hey, what's going on, everybody on YouTube? Steve here with Raiken Profit. Glad to have you guys here. I'm here with Tracy of Entrepreneur Girl on YouTube. So why don't you say hello, Tracy?
Hi guys, glad to be here.
Yeah, so we have a live show tonight with Tracy, and I must admit, I've been following you for a while, and I've seen you on some live hangouts. I've seen you mentioned a lot, and I've always heard a lot of really good things about you. So I wanted to reach out and do a live show with you and kind of chit chat a little bit about different things. Our main topic today is going to be diving into the inner workings of being an entrepreneur. You know, a lot of people like to talk about, specifics with Amazon and eBay and FBA and all these different reselling avenues. But if you don't have a strong foundation and you don't have a strong mental game or a strong inner game, it's going to be really challenging to succeed. So we're going to be talking a lot about the inner stuff. Also, we're going to be in the comments section as well, shouting some people out. So if you want to say hello, feel free to say hello and ask some questions and whatnot. But yeah, let's get into the show and introduce Tracy. So Tracy, could you tell us a little bit about who you are and kind of like your story and what you do and whatnot?
Sure. My name is Tracy Smith, and as Steve said, I'm the founder of Entrepreneur Girl. And the reason that whole crazy thing started was I'm the mom of 8 kids, and I homeschool, and I went through a lot of health issues. You can read the whole long story on my website, which is entrepreneurgirl.net. But basically what happened was I evaluated my life. I wanted to make it better. I wanted to incorporate some things that I was really passionate about, and the 9 to 5 just wasn't cutting that. So I kind of regrouped and created a job around the life that I wanted instead of trying to create life around a job that I had, if that makes sense.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. How many kids did you say you have? I'm sorry. I didn't catch that.
Testing.
Yeah,
8.
yeah.
8. I have 8 kids, 4 girls, 4 boys. And
Wow.
I know it's like crazy. You don't hear about that anymore. No one is crazy enough to do that. But my mom was 13 of 18 kids. And I kind of grew up with that, Steve, like crazy chaos, aunts and uncles. And I loved it. And so I always loved kids anyway. My first degree was in education, elementary ed. And so I love kids, but I just kind of wanted that big family environment.
Yeah.
So
And what are the age ranges of your children?
4 to 24. I
4
had
to
one, yeah, I had one really young, and then I went to college and did all of that, and then had my second one. So there's a big age difference between the first and second, and then about every 2 to 3 years until the 4-year-old.
That is amazing. How many people are actually in the house right now? Like, have you had a few kids move out?
Only the one, only the oldest one. The others aren't really old enough yet. I do have one in Ecuador right now, and she's coming back, but I think she'll be leaving soon, to go on and start her own thing.
Wow, that's an amazing story right there. I'd love to be at one of those family dinners right there. Are you cooking up a storm, or do you got the kids working for you?
For the most part, I have the kids working. They would tell you I burn up a storm. I'm not the best cook. Like, I try really hard, but
Sure.
I'm just not that great at it. So train them, and then they can do it.
That's awesome. That's really cool right there. So guys, be sure to check out Tracy, Entrepreneur Girl. I believe your handle on YouTube is Entrepreneur Girl.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
And you have a website as well, right?
Right. It's entrepreneurgirl.net. So we just have to remember the .net.
And what about Periscope or Snapchat or Instagram or the other 150,000 other social media outlets? Are you present on anything else?
Yes, you can see the social icons on both the YouTube channel and the website. So there's a bunch of them listed there. And I'm just now kind of getting into some of the other ones, like the podcast and all of that. But, basically it's just about building your business and loving your life and trying to balance both. So I try to get on as much social media and reach as many people as I can.
That's awesome, guys. So everybody watching right now, definitely go subscribe to her and check out all the cool stuff she is doing. I think you have what, like 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers now on YouTube, somewhere around there?
Actually, I think I'm at 15,000.
Wow.
Thanks, Steve.
I haven't checked in like 3 months. No, so you definitely got a following over there.
Yeah, it's going really well. It's growing rapidly, and I'm making a lot of changes currently. So I hope this year there's even more growth. I'm just trying to catch up with you because you're like Well, oh, now I'm in the hot seat. 26,000, right? Around.
You're supposed to say like 12,000.
That's right. You have
We
like
got
9 or 10, right?
exactly. We got Callie Picker in the house right now saying she is a powerhouse. So that's a pretty
Thank
nice description right there. We got Justin Mertz in the house. What's going on, Justin? We got TY Hipstar in the house. Deborah Little John. Ostex Picker. We got Kirk. Do you know Kirk M? Tracy's fan club is here.
Awesome. Hi, guys. It's nice to see everybody here.
Yeah, so thanks, everybody. We appreciate you all watching live. I know you guys have busy lives and things to do, so we're going to dive right into the content. Just to give an overview of some of the things we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about goals. We're going to be talking about organization in your business, productivity, self-motivation, overcoming challenges, education, dealing with haters, and a lot of the inner game stuff. So without further ado, let's just like dive like right into the content and talk about like some of the more important stuff. So figuring out what you want to achieve. So, one of the biggest issues that I see in terms of entrepreneurs, and, I've even dealt with this myself is, I want to be successful, or maybe I want to make a lot of money, or maybe I want to do something, but I'm not 100% sure. Like sometimes like I don't have that full clarity in terms of what do I want to achieve. Like, can we talk about that for a second, and maybe like how you've done it? Like, how do you figure out what you really want to achieve as an entrepreneur? Because I know it can be confusing.
Yeah, that's such a great question. And, mine came from dealing with all the health issues like we talked about. And mine was more lifestyle, I think, because I wanted to travel and I wanted to be home with my kids and I wanted a Jeep in the worst way. I just love Jeeps. So there were like things, material things and experience things that I really was so passionate about that I really wanted it. And I figured that the only way to get that was to be online, because if I had a job that I had to report to Monday through Friday and have a 1-week vacation, I wouldn't be able to do those things that I wanted to do. So for me, the clarity came from that, because it just kind of cut through the chase to there wasn't a whole lot I could do, and I needed the flexibility and the finances to support that lifestyle. And I could only do that really from diversifying a portfolio online.
So what did you do before you like jumped online and whatnot? Like, was there a point in your life where you were like, maybe you were doing something and you're like, listen, I need to transition to something else? Was there like one point that you could think of, or can you touch on that a little bit?
Sure. My first degree was in elementary ed. And so that requires, going to a school every day. And then you come home tired and you still have, a house and kids and dinner and everything. And so then I went back to school for business. And then I started in stock trading. That was my beginning. It wasn't eBay and Amazon. It was stock trading. And I loved it, but it wasn't enough monthly income. So I still stock trade today. It just wasn't enough that I could depend on, every month. So then I started looking for ways to diversify that and add to it. And that's when I kind of stumbled upon eBay and then knew I was onto something. So I added Amazon and then just continued to blossom from that, really.
So you actually started with eBay, and that's like a common theme that I hear a lot from people. They start with eBay, and then they either master that or they move on to other things. So you started with eBay. What were your goals when you first got started? Because a lot of people, maybe they're in the same shoes as you once were. They're doing a little bit of eBay or Amazon. Did you have goals, and did it play like an important role into where you are now?
Sure, I did. My goals were very minimal, though. I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't really believe in it, I think, yet. And my goal was to make summer income for summer camps for my kids. So it was like tiny, but I sold my used curriculum because I homeschool. And then I thought I'd make maybe $70 or something. I ended up making hundreds. And so then I was like, well, wait, I wonder if I could duplicate that. And then I did. And then I was like, okay, I'm hooked. And so that's how the whole eBay venture started.
So you started to have a little bit of success. And once you started to really, you're like, wow, like, because a lot of times like people, they don't take action because they don't truly believe that it works. And we were talking a little bit before the show about private label, which is an adventure that we're both getting into. So we could definitely relate to folks who are getting started with eBay or Amazon. But a lot of it is just believing that it works and having the confidence. And that's why it's so important to just like get started. And even if you fail, I feel like you just got to like keep pushing, because once you get that little bit of taste, doesn't it give you like more motivation? And like you tasted that little bit of money and you're like, wow.
Absolutely. And the one thing that I tell everyone, like if I could just tell everybody one thing, it would be not to let fear stop them. I just personally believe that fear should not dictate a single decision you make in your life. If you're making a decision, like an educated decision, all right, but to let fear stop you is just, to me, you're shortchanging yourself, because you're not even allowing it. And like we talked about, the learning curve is scary, and you would just stop right before you even began. So you got to push through that beginning and that fear and that learning curve for sure.
You're so right about that. I've looked back on my life and the times that I've made the wrong decisions, and I'm like, I wish I would have done something differently. A lot of times I've made really important decisions when I'm in a very high emotional state, very scared, or like, I don't remember who said this, but someone said in some book I read, never make a big decision when you're either hungry, tired, or scared, or something like that. But that's really cool right there. I got a question for you. Are you a believer in short-term goals or long-term goals, or do you think both of them are crucial for success? Because I don't know, my opinion differs at times, but are you more of a short-term goal person or a longer term?
I would say I'm both, because I have a book. I do like goal boards and vision. Okay, that's a goofy book. I shouldn't have showed you that part. But this book shows like all my goals, long-term goals. I have them written down. And I always have that front and center, because they're just so ingrained in who I am and what I want. Like I could tell you my long-term goals, right now, talking to you, I don't have to like think about them. They're just right there all the time. But because I have those front and center, I'm able to make shorter term goals. Like right now, I'm focused on my website and my private label. And so those are my kind of medium term goals. And then every day I start my day, I call it a power list. I don't know what anybody else would call it, but it's just like things that I have to do today. Like I needed to prepare to talk to you. I needed to, I had an appointment at 3 o'clock today. There were things that were on the schedule. I had some email coaching clients I had to address. So those were all on my power list for today, because I had to get them done. So I don't think I could function without any one of those parts, really.
How do people keep their goals at the forefront of their mind? Because I've just from my experience, I found that the times that I succeed most in anything, it could be a relationship, a business, health, anything, it's when my goals are at the forefront of my mind. And I do a lot of things to keep it there. But what do you do? Are you reading your goals? Are you talking about it? Do you meditate and have your goals as your mantra? I don't know. Is there any tips that you have?
Well, funny story. I was flipping through the channels one day, and I think it was Oprah, and I came upon her and she was talking about vision boards. And I thought, I was like rolling my eyes, and I thought, oh, that's, such baloney. And then I read a book, and it talked about writing down your goals. And if you wrote them down, you were more apt to accomplish them. And I kind of rolled my eyes at that. But then the funny thing is I actually did one year write down my goals, and then I just kind of forgot about them. And then I went back and revisited them, and I had accomplished most of what I had written down. And then I started really focusing on my goals and doing the vision board, like Oprah said, that I was eye rolling over. And it works. I mean, that's all I can say is it works, because every day I sit and drink my coffee and I'm looking at them, I'm thinking about them. And then when I'm faced with opportunities or decisions, I'm just like real quick to know what I want, because I know where I'm going. And so it works for me. And Oprah.
Yeah, if it works for Oprah, then it works for me.
It must be true.
There was a study done, again, I can't quote the exact book, but there was a study done on writing down your goals. And I think it was done of like Harvard students from like, I don't know if it was like the 50s or 60s. And they ended up like revisiting these students from whatever school it was, some Ivy League school. And they looked at all the people who wrote goals down, and they had some study about goals and writing your goals down. And it was something like 5% of the students at Harvard, it was some like prestigious school, actually had written goals. 5% of them or less had written goals. And the funny thing is they looked at the 5% and they looked at the 95% in terms of income. And the ones who had the 5% who had written the goals were earning 95% of the income.
Wow.
So
that's impressive.
goals are very, very powerful. And I really like how you put it, having it at the forefront of your mind. So everyone who's watching right now, one thing I'd like you guys to do is write your goals down and at least read them. Read them at least once in the morning and once at nighttime.
Absolutely.
Have you ever read the book Think and Grow Rich, Tracy?
I have. I own that book somewhere. I actually see it. Think, Grow, Rich. I'm a big book reader. As you can see, can you see I don't know if you can see it or not.
I see. What do you got there? Share some of those titles with us.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Let's get into down and dirty.
All right. Personal stash time. Uh-oh, losing my microphone. I have Start by John Acuff. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
I think I read that. I don't know.
Platform by Michael Hyatt.
Okay.
The 4-Hour Work Week. Most everybody knows that one. Yep. Yeah. And then Life
That's
Mastery.
I didn't know you were a fan of Stephen Palermo.
Yeah, or Stephen.
I just watched one of his videos the other day, and he was talking about keeping your goals at your forefront. Is that where you got that from, or did you always have that?
Well, I did that, but I think I'm prone to latch on to people that are similar. I think we all are, probably, people with similar beliefs and similar empowerment. And I like positive people. So he's very positive. Yep. And I like that because I like to be that way. The $100 Startup.
Okay.
Girl Boss.
Book haul. Girl Boss. Uh-oh. Did you write that book? Did you write that book?
No, I wish I did. That would be awesome. And 48 Days to the Life You Love.
How often do you read? Are you a big reader, like before you go to bed, or do you like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all the time. I always have a book in my hand, so anytime I have a minute, like while I'm eating or at the dentist office or whatever, I'm pretty much reading. I love it. That's how I continue my education, I think, mostly.
One of the big things I'm into is, and Brian Tracy, I don't know if you've ever watched or read any of his books. He's a really big personal development guy. He calls it, I forgot how he says it, but he calls like listening to audiobooks and stuff in your car, having a university on wheels. And that's kind of like how I like to roll. I always have Audible. Do you have Audible?
I don't, because I have so many kids. It's just like in the background.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I would get much out of it.
Yeah.
But what's your favorite book?
Oh, there's so many. I definitely love Think and Grow Rich. That's one of my favorites. I also love the book Eat This. I believe it's Eat This or Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, which kind of. I haven't
read that one. I have to write that down.
You got to check that out because a lot of people and I know you were mentioning you have like a power list or a to-do list. And the premise of the book is like a lot of people have a to-do list, right? But the funny thing is 90% of the things on the to-do list don't really make a big difference. Like if you were to think about, it's like the 80-20 rule, right? It's usually like 20% of the things you do are going to result or like going to play out like 80% of your results. So Eat That Frog is like, say you have 10 things on your to-do list. There's probably 2 things on that list that are going to make the biggest difference or probably the most challenging and probably the 2 that you don't want to do. So the premise of the book is Eat That Frog. Take those out first and kind of let that 80-20-80 rule, however, 80-20 rule kind of play out.
80-20. Yeah, I'm big on the 80-20 and starting my day with, I always talked about addressing the elephant, but I like Eat the Frog better. But it's the thing, the big thing in the room that you don't want to address, just hitting it off, because then you feel like, yeah, you're all empowered and in a good mood for the rest of the day. So, I like rocking it that way. Because I have a tendency to putz around, I think maybe a lot of us do. Sure. You get busy with all the little things. And then at the end of the day, you're like, wow, where'd the day go? And you didn't get, done what you wanted to get done. So I have to be very careful with myself because I have a tendency to do that. And I don't want to do that. So I try to start with like the biggest thing that I need to do. And then the rest of the day's a breeze after that.
Yeah, I found that when I take out the most challenging things first, it's almost like you're building up your confidence. It's like you feel really, really good about yourself. And one of the things about succeeding as an entrepreneur is actually feeling good. And when you get something done or you exercise first thing in the morning, it really just, do you know what I mean? You get that feeling of accomplishment. It makes you want to keep like accomplishing more things because you feel good.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more.
So everybody in the comment section right now, if you're feeling good, hit the like button. No, if you're enjoying this video, hit the like button. Show some love for Tracy, the entrepreneur girl. She's taking some time out of her day to chit chat with us about mastering the inner game of entrepreneurship, which is huge, guys. You could have all the knowledge in the world when it comes to eBay, Amazon, Craigslist, FBA, books, retail arbitrage. But if you don't have that inner game under control, if you don't have your goals in line, if you're not productive, if you're not motivated, nothing really matters. So again, guys, show some love for Entrepreneur Girl. Hit the like button right now. Also, leave a comment below in the comment section. Let us know what your favorite book is. Somebody said who moved the cheese, or moved the cheese. I forgot. It's like,
oh yeah, like who moved my cheese?
Yeah, it's a tiny little book too. But yeah, guys, definitely leave a comment in the comment section. But yeah, let's move on to the next phase. We talked about like figuring out what you want and the importance of your goals and whatnot. Let's talk about how do you actually get your butt out of the couch or off the couch and actually take action? Because there's a big, like, one of the things I've struggled with is I'm a planner. Like, I could plan all day long. I love numbers. My father's a CPA. I love breaking down numbers. Oh, if I buy this many and sell this much, I can make this much, and plan. But it doesn't matter how much you plan if you don't take action. So how do you get yourself, Tracy, from, you know, planning to actually taking action? Do you have any tips for that?
Well, that's a good question, because the fun part is planning, you know, all your goals. You know, I love daydreaming about that Jeep, but I actually have to, you know, get my bottom in the office to make it a reality. So I think that's probably my number one thing, is to fuel all those desires I have, is I know I have to put in the time. But like you, I'm a big planner, so I schedule my time. I talk about my schedules a lot on the YouTube channel, and they're probably my least liked videos, but I do them anyway because they're so important. And it makes me sad that more people don't talk about the things that we're talking about today, because I think really this battle right here, this mental battle, is 90% of it. And I just wish we could, you know, spend more time addressing that, because, you know, that's what counts, like getting to the office. So what I do is I schedule it. I talk to my family about it, so they know that I start with them. I start every day with them. But then when it's office time, it's office time. And while I'm in the office, I have to like turn off my Facebook, because you know, I'll divvy away my time doing that. I turn off my phone and I just get busy and work. I like to do it in chunks. So I have 6 activities that I try to do every day. Those are my current 6 things. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there, my file cabinet, my hanging files. So those are my 6 current projects, and that's my website, coaching, YouTube channel, private label. So I only do 6, or over that I get overwhelmed.
So 6 per day. You're trying to take action on one. Is that what you're saying, or? Well,
yeah, 6. Like, I have all my long-term goals. I have 6 focus areas that I'm focusing on now. And so until my website is really where I want it to be, I won't incorporate another one. You know, I see those 6 through to completion. And then of those 6, those are my focus areas every day. So for an hour, I'll do private label, and then I'll take a little break. And for another hour, I'll work on my website. So I kind of like to chunk it, and that keeps me focused and keeps me less distracted. And then those breaks are really nice, because like I'll take a little walk or get something to eat or drink, and it kind of keeps me motivated and keeps me moving. I don't get burned out or my eyes glaze over or anything like that.
Yeah, that was one thing that I'm dealing with, because I got a lot of things I'm dealing with as well that are similar to you, with the green room and private label and paying the bills with FBA and eBay and publishing, and you know what it's like. And I found myself recently, like over the last like 4 or 5 days, I've been spending like all day long just working on the green room and building out the site. And while I've been doing that, I've been kind of neglecting other things. A little bit of the private label I've been neglecting, a little bit of the FBA. And so what you're saying is, and you like to kind of just like every day kind of balance it out, or do you find yourself like some days you're just like all private label?
Well, okay. I have to be honest. I'm both. You know, there's some times when I'm really into work and then my house looks like a tornado went through it, you know, and you're focused on one ball and then the rest of them fall down. But for the most part, I try to focus a little bit on everything. And that way I just don't have to worry about it. You know, I do one load of laundry every day, so I don't have to worry about the mountain of laundry that piles up. And it's the same with private label. I get all excited about private label, so I just want to focus on it all day. But if I cut it off at an hour, knowing that I'm going to hit it tomorrow, then a little bit of progress happens in all areas. And I feel more accomplished. You know, I feel happier at the end of my day because I feel like I hit all my responsibilities versus just one.
Let's dive into something that is going to be a little bit uncomfortable to talk about, but it's something that I think it would be interesting to kind of chit chat with you about it. What's your thoughts on the argument between, you know, mastering something and being the best at it versus spreading yourself too thin? Because again, this is something I've dealt with as well. But I know this isn't on. We have a little outline here. This ain't on it. This is like we put you in the hot seat, girl.
Can Tracy answer on this? I can do this.
You got it.
I get a lot of slack for this one. So it's kind of interesting that you picked up on that. I like to do a lot of different things, and people will argue with me that it's better to be a master at one and not spread yourself out too thin. And I get it. That's a valid point. It is. Like if I'm doing eBay and Amazon and stock trading and real estate and book writing, yes, I could spread myself too thin. I get it. What I'm more saying is once I'm pretty solid with eBay. I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to be a master or a guru on everything or any one thing, but say I'm pretty solid with eBay and I feel like I can tackle or add another element. I feel personally that is a smart thing to do because I want to be diversified. I don't want to be just the best person selling baskets on Amazon, because if the basket market falls out or Amazon falls out, my finances are going to fall out with it. And I just don't believe, for me anyway, that that's the practice I want to take. I want to be good at everything that I'm trying to accomplish and only add one at a time, get a comfort level, and then add another one. But I do get a lot of pushback for that.
So do I. I have as well. And there's been times where I believed in the mastering one or two things, and there's other times where I believed in, you know, doing 10 things at a time. And I've just found for myself, well, first off, you made a good point, balancing risk. I like being able to balance like the risk, you know, in case something falls out, right? Say something happens, say you get suspended on Amazon, which actually happens to quite a few people now and then.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's ways that you can prevent that by not doing stupid things.
Don't be stupid. That's the point of today's video.
If you get anything, if you get one thing out of this video, guys, don't be stupid. Go to don'tbestupid.com. No, just kidding. But I like the balancing the risk, and I also feel like maybe you and I are similar in this, where I don't know if we're not, just let me know. But I feel like I get bored easily. I like having my hands in a bunch of different cookie jars. I know it sounds crazy, but like if I'm just doing one thing, it might not be the best move. But is that something you feel like as well?
Yeah, the business ADD. No, I'm kidding. I do too. I like the creative element of it, and I'm drawn to it. You know, like I like designing my website more than maybe listing these 50 items that are sitting on my office floor right now. You know, I had a friend tell me, because I kind of was struggling with this recently, this thing we're talking about, and I thought she had excellent advice. She said to spend 70% of my time doing what was giving me the most cash flow right now. So for me right now, it's my eBay and Amazon. So spend 70% of my time doing that, which is hard for me because I don't want to spend 70% of my time doing that. But that's really good advice. And then spend 20% on what was giving me the future cash flow, like my website design or my private label or whatever was on the horizon for me. And then spend 10% doing things like, you know, your social media platforms, which, as you probably know, you can spend a whole day getting lost in your social media.
So
or
fun.
Just, yeah, it is. It's fun, and you're talking to people. You know, just spend your last 10% doing that maintenance type stuff. And I thought that was really good advice for people struggling with what we're talking about, because it does kind of give you a breakdown on how to spend your time.
Listen, at the end of the day, everybody who's listening, there's people who absolutely kill it mastering one thing, and there's people who are multimillionaires doing a bunch of different things. My buddy Stefan Palernos, who we've actually had on the Green Room show before, and we've interacted before, and he's a really good guy, and I know you have his book. I think he has 15 or 20 different income streams, and I believe his income, and this isn't going to happen for everybody, but I think he's on track to do well over $1 million in revenue this year. And somebody left a comment saying, jack of all trades, master of none. And I'm calling you out. That may be true for some people, right? But at the end of the day, I think you need to gauge what works best for you. Doing more than one thing, it works for me, and it seems like it's working for Tracy. Now, for whoever's out there, John or Heather, I'm making up names, it might not work for you. It might not work for you, but try it out to see what works best for you. Let's dive into, and you kind of talked about this already, distractions. How do you work without getting distracted? Do you have any tips? Because I got Facebook messages going off, Snapchats, Periscopes. I mean, it's a freaking madhouse. What do you got? What do you got for tips for people? And maybe they're not big into social media, but what tips do you have for people to work without being distracted, and why is it important?
Well, for me, what I do, and I can only really talk about what I do, but I have 8 kids, so I feel like I have a lot of distractions.
You can't get away from it.
And, I homeschool, and, everybody wears a lot of different hats, but I designated an office space, and I tell everybody when my office time is. And then I spend time, like I said, with everybody first. So if there's any questions or needs, I can hit those. And then while I'm at office time, I choose those times to give things that people are really happy for, like teenagers, it would be their computer time. Stuff that they're excited about where they don't want to bother me. I don't even hear them or see them. And then as far as like Facebook and my phone, I turn it off. I don't even bring it in my office space. I normally answer my Facebook when I'm at the ball field or, with my phone, kind of in my personal time. Work time is work time, because for me, time is my least commodity. I struggle with having enough time to do everything I need to do. So if I only have 4 hours in here, I want to hit it hard. And so that's what I do, is I have systems in place for everything. I have organization in place for everything. I have my top 6 things that I focus on every day. I group it up and I just hit it, and you just got to do it.
Yeah, with a YouTube channel, a website, getting into private label, 8 kids, you need to be focusing your time and trying to figure out how to clone yourself.
Exactly. That's what I need. But now they're getting older, so I'm hiring. I went through my schedule actually recently, and I made a list of all the stuff that was kind of tedious, chore, tasky type things that I could either give to a child for a chore, or that I could hire out with a virtual assistant. Something where my time was spent doing, like the 80-20 rule. My time was spent doing what was the 20% that was making me 80% of the profit. And then I can kind of move that 80% of medial things, off to someone else.
That makes total sense. Before we dive into the next phase, which we're going to be talking about, how to gauge success, right? Because a lot of times we'll be taking massive action, but we don't really know, is it working or not? Before we get into that, I want to ask you, because you were talking about focusing 70% of your time on the things that are making you the most money, eBay, Amazon. Real quick, what are you doing to make money on eBay and Amazon in a nutshell? Are you doing wholesale? Are you going to thrift stores, garage sales, retail arbitrage? What are you doing real quick?
Well, I worked up. I started with garage sales and thrift stores, and then I went to retail arbitrage, and then it was kind of too time consuming for me, so I wanted to buy bulk. And so I started exploring things like wholesale and trade shows, and even auctions or storage auctions, where I can get large quantity of items. And now, I'm into private label, because to me, that's the ultimate, doing everything online and not having to be outsourcing inventory. So that's kind of my progression. It's probably most people's progression, I would say.
Yep. I'm getting at the same point now where I love thrifting and stuff, and I love going to pawn shops and retail arbitrage, but it's so time consuming, and like just, and I think we align with you. Like I want to spend a lot more time, like, you know, doing interviews and working with the green room and shooting videos and like website stuff and private label. And like, that's very time consuming, you know, on its own. So I think it's really cool that you've realized that your time is limited and you've done something different. So many times you see people, you know, we've done it before where we keep doing the same thing over and over again. We want a different result, but we keep doing the same thing, and you've realized your time is limited. So you moved into the wholesale and the trade shows, and that's cool. Is it working out for you? Is it something you see yourself continuing to do, or is it kind of the competition brutal, or what's the deal with that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm really excited about it. I would like to encourage other people to try it. I will probably always garage sell and go to thrift stores just because I like to do those things. I think it's fun, but I don't want to have to do those things. And kind of what's happening to me is I created this job because I wanted this lifestyle. And then the more successful I became, the more I was working. And then, and then one day I woke up and I was like, wait a minute, you know, I'm kind of like working 9 to 5 and created what I said I wasn't going to create. So I felt like I kind of worked myself into doing what I ultimately had started not to do. Does that make sense? But so I kind of analyze again and reevaluate and say, okay, wait a minute, you know, I like sourcing, but I don't want to spend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all day doing it. I want to be able to do it from an hour from my computer, and that's working. I still like to do it. I still like to keep my hands in it because I talk to a lot of people that are beginners, and I, you know, want to be able to say, hey, this works and this doesn't, and kind of keep my hand in it. But it's not something that I can maintain. It's not something I want to maintain.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm definitely dealing with a lot of the same issues as well. We got Ostex Picker in the house saying, wow, 105 watchers. Hit the like button. We got 105 people watching right now, Tracy. So we're definitely breaking you into the live show game right now. And you ever thought about having any live shows on your channel?
I haven't. Not yet. Maybe you'll be my first one.
Awesome. Hey,
at the time.
I want to ask people in the comments, does it sound like Tracy's breaking up? Because over about the last 2 minutes, it's coming in really, really choppy. So I'm not sure if anything's going on over there. You might have to sign out and sign back in. But let us know in the comments. We'll hang on for a few more minutes. But your actual video screen went off, so we can't see you anymore, which kind of happens when the bandwidth gets limited. So yeah, it looks like Hola Shack says her connection is bad. So if you want to try to sign out and sign back in, do you know how to do that?
I will work on it. I also can go on a different website, different internet. So let me try that real quick.
Yeah, if you want to sign off, I'll do some Q&A and whatnot. Pretty much what you do is you would just X out and then join through the Google link that I sent you again. So just let me know what you'd like to do. All right, I think she's switching over. So sorry about that, guys. Let's jump into the comments and see if we could answer some questions and whatnot and shout some people out. It's tough, guys. Sometimes it's a challenge to, you know, do these broadcasts. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Let me switch my screen over to see if I could see you. I lost the live screen. Yes, I see you. I think you're back in action.
Okay, I just changed internets, so.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was telling people, you know, it's a challenge sometimes to get good internet. I mean, where are you? Are you in Florida?
I am in Florida, but I live on an island. And
you live in an island?
It's not as glamorous as it
just
sounds.
Just with all your kids.
Yeah, just me and 8 kids on an island. We swim to shore. No, I do live on an island, though. It's Florida. It's called Pine Island. And just the internet, like if it rains or it could be cloudy and I don't have internet. So I just switched to my phone. So now I'm on Verizon internet.
Yeah, if we have any issues, we'll let you know and we'll have you switch back. But it looks good, but we got to be grateful. I mean, think about it. 2016, we are here. I'm in Connecticut. You're on an island out in the tropics. No, I'm just kidding. You're out on an island. We're actually talking live, and we have 100 people watching. So it's amazing, guys. So thanks for having patience and for all the cool interaction and everything. But let's dive into the next segment of this show. And again, guys, we're going to be sure to dive into the comments, probably about 10 minutes or so. Oh boy, I have a lot of stuff to cover. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to it all, but we'll dive in about 10 minutes before and answer some questions. We're having so much fun. I'm not getting through any of the material, but let's talk about, let's see, we have so many different topics. How about we talk about staying organized as an entrepreneur? I know you kind of talked about this and having to-do lists and stuff, but how do you stay organized as an entrepreneur with so many things going on?
I am a lister, big time. And I don't know if I believe in it or I just had to because I had 8 kids. So I had to, just kind of, it forced me to be very organized. But I structure my life, what I want out of my life. I structure what's important in my life, my schedule, my budget, my goals, my menu, what we're eating that week. My calendar, even tools. As being a reseller, I try to utilize tools as much as I can, like your scan powers, or even just having like your little hand fob, anything that will save time and organize me as a business person or as a mom and a wife. GoDaddy, Inventory Lab, you name it. I utilize tools and organize every element of my life. Everything is, my house is organized, my spaces are organized, and I use templates a lot with templates, with my YouTube videos, how you use the templates, but also my listings. I'll use templates for my listings. Anything that I don't have to reinvent the wheel again, I will do.
I like how you said GoDaddy. Is that for your organizing your taxes?
It is my bookkeeping.
Yep,
I use GoDaddy bookkeeping, and I just find that it's it's good for my accountant. He seems happy with it. I seem happy with it. It's user friendly, and I like that I can just get all the information from a lot of different, from eBay and Amazon and everything. Yeah, and I don't have to manually enter it in, which is time consuming.
Big time saver, guys. Go check it out if it's your first year on eBay or Amazon. I've answered a lot of questions behind the scenes of people struggling with this. Check out GoDaddy bookkeeping. It used to be called Outright, and GoDaddy bought them out. So it's GoDaddy bookkeeping, and the cool thing about it is you could actually sync up through the API, I believe, like eBay to GoDaddy, Amazon to GoDaddy, and sync up your credit cards. So you could dedicate one credit card just to like maybe cost of goods. So anything that you use with that credit card will be synced into GoDaddy through your cost of goods, and you can have your eBay and Amazon synced up as fees and PayPal fees. I mean, it's a godsend. So that's really cool. You mentioned Inventory Lab as well, which is something I started using a couple months ago. Wish I would have started using it a year and a half ago. What are your thoughts on that piece of software?
I actually think Inventory Lab is probably the best. It's just the most expensive, and so a lot of people don't want to start there. It's kind of like Scan Power. I really like Scan Power, but it's one of the most expensive scanning apps. So a lot of people will start with Profit Bandit, and kind of work into those tools. I think the important takeaway is that you use tools, because people don't want to spend the money, but they forget that time is money, and you're saving time, and it's organizing your material, and it's making it easier for you and your business, and you need to utilize them. And Cozy is a free app I use for my personal life, and I can organize grocery lists and family schedules. And so just taking a day really to research tools will benefit you forever.
Put the systems in place now. If you're struggling with something, maybe you struggled with taxes, or maybe some facet of your business. If you're struggling with something, it may look like a challenge, but it's really an opportunity for you to do something differently, to be able to organize and save time. Whatever you guys are struggling with right now, kind of try to reverse engineer it. And you could fix a lot of these things with softwares like Inventory Lab. It sped up my time significantly. GoDaddy's saved so much time. Do you happen to use, are you a big fan of like the Google stuff, like the Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Sheets? Have you messed around with that at all?
I have. Right now I'm really into Office. So I'm into more the Microsoft Office, but I do use like the drop boxes and stuff. So maybe I'm a little bit of a mix. But I think what you said is perfect. Like anytime you hit a hang up in your day, just jot it down and then create a system, so you never hit that hang up ever again. And then before long, your days just kind of flow effortlessly, and you're not just feeling frustrated.
All right, so we're going to start to move pretty quick. We were going to really dive a lot into like motivation and education and challenges, but we're running out of time, and I want to be sure to answer questions for folks. I know there's a lot of questions coming in, and people are asking a lot. So let's just dive real quick into a few of these. Motivation. It's really important, right? Now, we could argue that people are born with that motivation to be an entrepreneur. It's something you could learn. That's neither here nor there. But what are your thoughts on like how to stay motivated in a nutshell? How do you stay motivated to continue grinding it out? I mean, you've got a lot of things going on. You've got, children, you're married, I can only imagine. I'm having a hard time dealing with myself, and you got 8 of them. How do you stay motivated?
Well, I think the best thing to do is to create a sentence, and it's kind of like a motivational paragraph for when things get bumpy. And it takes everything that is in your goal list and you put it in a sentence. Like mine might be, I want to build a home business that I can leave for my children, that allows me to live in the North Carolina mountains. I can work from a cabin. But you kind of, put everything that you're wanting in one paragraph, and then you hang it in front of your computer. And then every day, just read it and remind yourself why you're doing this to begin with, because it's going to suck. I mean, you're going to have days that are really bad. I mean, there's some days I'm like, yeah, I'm doing great. And then there are other days that I just feel really discouraged, and I need that. And I think we all need that. So that helps me stay motivated, probably the number one thing.
This is a little off course, but what's something in your day like that has to do with business that would make you feel bad? Because I deal with this as well. Some days I just feel bad. I'm like, I don't know why. Is it because you're not being as productive, or maybe you get a negative comment on your YouTube, or like maybe what's an example just to kind of relate?
Okay, I have lots of examples. I do not have very thick skin. I started this because I wanted to help people.
Yeah.
So my feelings get hurt when somebody says something bad, because I know Steve. It takes a lot of time. My YouTube channel, it's a lot of time and a lot of effort, and you do it for free, essentially. The money you make on YouTube is minimal. And so it really hurts my feelings when somebody leaves a negative comment. But I think it's just me, because if they leave a thumbs down, I'm like, well, why? What was wrong with it? I've gotten better. I've been doing it a couple years now, so my skin has gotten thicker. And also, the more I do this and the more I teach, the more I realize that I really do know myself, and I really do believe in myself and believe in what I'm doing. And now it doesn't hurt as much. I'm not as sensitive to it. But perfect real life example is last video I did on my YouTube channel. Everybody loved, raving reviews. I was like, oh yeah, I was feeling great that day, right? and then today I put out a video and it was like, rah, rah, and yeah. I was kind of like bummed, but you don't know what's going to work. You throw a lot of stuff out there. At least I do. Anything that comes across my path, I just throw out there and see if somebody needs it or they don't. And sometimes they really negatively respond, and I've had to get a thicker skin with that.
Yeah, no, I definitely know what you're saying. And, it's part of the game. I've realized you can't get everybody to like you. And if you truly believe in what you do, and you're really trying to help people and make a difference, I think at the end of the day, that's really what matters. I mean, I think we had 9 dislikes before the show started. So there's people out there who will dislike my videos. I could honestly make a video saying, you know what? I just won the lottery. I won $1 billion Powerball. I'm giving every one of my subscribers $1 million. I would get so many dislikes. There's nothing you can do to get everybody to like you. I feel like if you're not getting any dislikes, you may be doing something wrong. You might not be pushing the envelope far enough. But yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
Exactly.
Importance of surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Is that something that you practice in your life, or do you just let anybody, come into your life negative?
No, I try to avoid negative people like the plague. I am very sensitive to the vibes of people. Like, I like to be positive. I like to keep it energetic. And when someone comes up and it's like, I call them Eeyores, like Winnie the Pooh. Hello, I just won the lottery. And it like sucks the life right out of me. And so I have to be very careful about that. Not that I need to just be around, happy people all the time, because that's not true. But I do like the support of being around like-minded people. I love that you and I were both YouTubers, and yet we can support each other and support, I can support your goals in your channel and not feel like your competition or, this is what I like, because there is a lot of support in that, because you understand what I'm going through. And I understand what you're going through, and we can help each other and support each other. And one step up, I like to hang out with people that are even better than me, because I learned to be better. And just like listings, when I first started listings on Amazon, I was looking at other people's listings to see how I could improve mine. You can kind of try to mirror, being a better seller, being a better business person, being a better YouTuber, whatever it is, by looking for somebody that's a step above you and then trying to mirror what they're doing.
Yep, I agree totally. Cody Orgel, who actually, big shout out to Cody, Green Room member in the house and from Australia. We've got Australia in the house right now. Cody made a statement, people who act negatively should use that energy to do good in the world. So that's so true right there. Callie Picker says you can't piss off everyone. You can try, but you can't get them all. So guys and gals watching right now, let's open up the floor for some Q&A. We've got about 8 minutes left. Maybe we could have you on another time, or we could interact another day and answer some more questions. But yeah, if anyone watching right now, I know I think we have 113 people. I want to ask you right now, hit the like button, show some love. Tracy and I are sensitive. We will start. I'll shed some tears on this right now. I will.
I will too. I will cry.
No, it's good to be a
girl crying.
I appreciate you being honest and talking about your sensitivity, because I mean it shows that you care, right? And you want to help people and you want to make a difference. And I really appreciate you saying that. And it's important. So if you guys have any questions right now for Tracy, in terms of, it could be eBay or Amazon or productivity tips or anything along those lines, I'm in the comment section right now. So we're going to ask some questions and whatnot if anybody has any questions. We got Hula Shack in the comments saying, hey, Thunder. Hey, Thunder. Green Pastures 1000. Yes, I like to surround myself with those who have lots of motivation and energy. I found that when you hang out with people who are driven, who are, pushing themselves outside their comfort zone. Like when I was talking to you before the show about private label, like I got excited and motivated because I'm like, you know what? I'm not the only one doing this. And that's just really important, guys. Get yourselves a part of a community. I know you run a Facebook group, Tracy. It's what is it called again? 360?
Amazon 360.
Amazon 360. And I was looking at it last night. I think you've got almost 5,000 members.
Right. Yeah, I think we're about 5,000 members. It's free. So, there's nothing to lose there. But it's kind of like you and I were talking about. You get a lot of support from people doing the same thing that you're doing. And you can talk about the struggles in real life, because on any of my platforms, you won't find me acting like the guru. I will be the first one to say, I don't know everything and certainly make mistakes every single day. Yep. But I love that I can go on there and be real, and everybody else can be real, and we can help each other with real problems. And so Amazon 360 Facebook group.
Yeah, check that out. 100% free, almost 5,000 members, guys. Step up your game in there. Hugo Lopez says, where can I get your mannequin, Steve? Just go to Amazon, type in dress form mannequin. There's a lot of them. Just find one that has good reviews. They're all pretty good. Justin Mertz asks to Tracy, question with GoDaddy bookkeeping. Can you import your sold items on Amazon? So what he's asking is like your Amazon sales, where will it come up on GoDaddy?
The one thing I don't like about GoDaddy, and I actually did a video on it. So I think it was Steve, you said you could go on the YouTube channel and look, but the cost of goods sold, I'm not really sure what your question is, but if it's about the cost of goods sold, you can't separate that out, but it does import sales from Amazon. So I hope that answers it.
Yeah, it's a little confusing at times. Let's see. Somebody says, don't need GoDaddy. Keep all your receipts, add them up, and then deduct it from your yearly sales gross. I mean, you don't need a lot of things, right? That's Kevin. The way you said that, it's how am I trying to say this? You don't need a lot of things in life, right? You don't need a teacher. You don't need supplies. You don't need software. You don't need a box. You could go out and find a box and put it together yourself, but it all takes time. I know I'm being a crazy person right now, but it all takes time. So obviously you don't need anything in life, but it's all about leveraging your time. And I think that's what Tracy was trying to say with GoDaddy. It saves her time. Inventory Lab, it saves you time. So if you're in a position where maybe your biggest commodity is time, you want to start to leverage your time. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. Somebody asked Tracy, how long have you been on YouTube for?
Almost exactly 2 years now, April of 2014. So 24 months.
24 months. It's amazing. Looking back, I looked back at my old videos and I'm like, oh my gosh, was I really doing that? I don't know. Have you experienced that where you look back and you're like embarrassed, or are you like, you know what, I'm awesome?
Okay, for real. I broke my foot. I plopped my foot on inventory that I had on my desk. I put my broken foot on my desk to talk about my foot on the inventory. I look back now and I'm like, seriously, what was I thinking? That's awful.
What's your most viewed video besides the foot video?
Actually, that's not, thankfully. Anything that has a good keyword, like my Walmart, my dollar store. Outside of that, books, like how to look at, oh, wait, I know one, dumpster diving. I tried dumpster diving once. That got a crazy ton of views. Most of my books, like sourcing books, gets a lot of views. And my retail arbitrage, like going into name brand stores like Kohl's or Walmart or Kmart, those get a lot of views too.
Awesome. Let's see. What's the best time to sell on eBay? I'm not sure what that question means. What's the best time to sell on eBay? What's a good rank for CDs? Do you sell CDs, Tracy, on Amazon?
I sell a variety of stuff because I'm basically along the line of net profit. I know where some people get in like a niche and then they stay there. I'm kind of a little bit all over the place as long as I can make the profit. Most of my rankings, I like to be under 100,000, except the book category could be a little higher.
Sure,
and if I wanted to sell faster, I really like to be under that 50,000 range.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I was going to say the same thing. Keep it under 100K to keep it moving for the CDs under the music category. Under 50K, you're looking really good. Somebody said 300K is high for CDs. I definitely agree. Oz Text Picker says balanced time, balanced family, and balanced budget equals balanced life. I like that right there. Let's see. This is a good comment right here from Hula Shack. Tracy saved my house. My husband lost his job and we had no money. Tracy coached me, and today I am paying my bills with Amazon. Thanks to Tracy.
Yes, love Hula Shack. She's awesome.
That is absolutely. Those are the types of things, like those comments right there, that just, it keeps me wanting to continue to put out videos, because like you said, let's be honest, right? Like, you're not going to, if you're looking to get into YouTube for the money, there's money to be made. Like, I'm going to be honest, there's money to be made. I've made very good money off of YouTube, but not off of the advertising, off of products and services and helping people that way. But it took a lot of free time to get the ball rolling. And if you're looking to generate money through ads, you're not going to make much money in a reselling space. Advertisers aren't paying much money. So it keeps us motivated to keep going. I'm not sure if you feel the same way.
Oh, absolutely. I just started this to impact one person, like Hula Shack. And to be able to impact more than that's just icing on the cake. And then to make a few $100s a month, doing it, that's even better. And then the opportunities, like you were mentioning, from just having a platform for yourself and being able to branch off of that, that's also beneficial. But it's people like that back to that motivation. They really motivate you that it's all worth it and to keep fighting the good fight.
You got a new person who joined Amazon 360, which is your Facebook group. Peter Porumbo just joined Amazon 360 while watching this. Mark Gonzalez,
Peter.
yes. Mark Gonzalez says, you both rock. Always grateful for the advice. Much love and respect. Tracy is so much cooler than you, Steve. I just made that part up, but it sounded good. Let's see. I got to try to make my guests feel comfortable. Let's see. Marta Ruiz, I love all your videos. Okay, here's a good question. It's kind of general, but we'll dive into it a little bit. How to get ungated on Amazon. Somebody just said how to ungate. Let's dive into how to get ungated on Amazon. Are you familiar with this at all?
Yeah, that was the video that everybody loved last Tuesday. On Tuesday,
okay.
I do Tracy's Tuesday tips. So last Tuesday was getting ungated in categories. So you could watch that, because basically what I did was I just went in like anybody would, and just ran down the list to see what happened. So it was kind of fun. And I got ungated in 7 categories by doing that.
Nice.
I saw there was a question in the chat about sexual wellness. That was one I didn't try to get ungated in. Don't have any experience with that.
Yeah, I hear it's pretty easy to get in. I just had a friend who got accepted into it. I might be accepted into it because I know I applied to it. I just haven't checked because I don't find many like sexual items to sell. But maybe in the future. Crafty Caregiver says, and this was when I was making the comment about you being cooler. Crafty Caregiver goes, but it is true, Steve. She is cooler, LOL. Hey, now.
I like Crafty. Thanks, Crafty.
I'm blocking her. No, I'm just kidding.
We have to stay together. We have to stick together.
Callie Picker says, search for Tracy's Tuesday tips, and you can find the video on YouTube. Marta Ruiz says, how can I know early that you're going to do live chat? So I think what Marta's asking is, how can I know early that I'm running a live show? Well, you can go to my Facebook at Raiken Profit, or just subscribe to my YouTube. I usually put out a broadcast warning that it's going to come out a few days in advance. And do the same with Tracy, because I'm hoping maybe eventually. Do you think you'd ever be down to do a live show, or is it not your forte?
Oh no, I would love to do a live show. I think this is great fun, and I think there's a lot, to be learned from people that are doing the same thing. I think it's great.
Sorry, I'm laughing at some of these comments coming in. Texas Scout
I saw that someone said you were cuter, which I have to agree.
He's always coming in on these and making these funny / sexual comments towards all of us. So if you get one, don't take it personal. Steve's a good guy. Let's see.
It's okay, Steven. He is cuter. I'll give you that.
No, I don't know. That's it. We're going to get into a whole argument right now. Right now, guys, leave a comment. No, I'm just kidding. Thrift or pawn, even an issue. I'm trying to understand what this says. Streetglide 777. Thrift or pawn, ever an issue with authentic complaints? So I'll ask you this question, Tracy. Ever have any issues with items not being real? Like maybe selling an item and it being fake, or if you deal with Coach purses, or I don't know, maybe you could touch on that a little bit.
I haven't had any issues with that. I have had issues with people like CD. I sold a CD. It was brand new. I knew it was brand new. I look at everything and test everything myself before it leaves. Mm-hmm. And they came back saying that it was all scratched up and nasty and unusable. So I knew that was a lie, but there's very little you can do with that type of stuff. When I first started, I used to fight it just on principle. Now I've learned not to. I just let the customer always be right. Customer service is one of the best things I can do for my company. So I've learned to swallow my pride a little bit on that and just go ahead and refund. And even though I know it's bogus, but I haven't had any like fake items, or I haven't had any negative feedback on Amazon yet. It's just been eBay.
Yeah, and if you do get a negative, it's pretty easy to get the negative feedback removed on Amazon, because most people are leaving product reviews on your seller account, or they'll leave like a negative comment about like the shipping or something specifically about the product. So if you ever do get a negative, send me a message. I could definitely help you to get that off. Somebody asked, Zena Richardson says, you both are great. I enjoy learning info from you. What forms do you give your tax preparer? My advice would be get a CPA or an accountant, but maybe you could touch on that, Tracy, a little nicer than I can.
I do have an accountant. GoDaddy prepares a form for you. I'm hoping I can get it right. It's like the 1033. I don't know, something like that.
1033. I don't know about that.
Is that
one.
wrong?
I've never heard of a 1030. I think it's a 1021.5.
1021.
No, I'm making that up.
1075. I don't know. GoDaddy prints out the form that you need to take to your accountant. I do know that I named it in my YouTube video, but I just don't remember the name of it now. But it's my accountant's really happy with it. So I just print it up, I hand it to him, and he handles it, and it's worked really well.
Are you doing if this is too personal, don't worry, but I started doing it this year. I'm actually making estimated payments for my income tax and my sales, which means every quarter. Well, let me take a step back. At the beginning of the year, I'll kind of break down with my father's actually my CPA. But I'm actually going to be looking for someone else. Nothing against you, Dad, but I need someone who specializes in internet sales. I didn't say that live, guys. Shh, don't tell anybody. But at the beginning of the year, I estimated how much money I thought I was going to make, and then I made estimated income payments and sales, if I'm saying that right. Or do you wait till the end of the year, or what advice would you have for that for others?
So far, I've waited till the end of the year. It's just now getting to the point where I'm making enough income that that's becoming like gulp, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm needing to address things a little differently than I've had to address them in the past, just because my income has changed. So if you're just first starting out, I don't know that I would worry about that. But as you increase, I would probably talk to your accountant about breaking it up quarterly. That way you're not surprised by anything, and you're not having to come up with a big chunk of change that maybe you don't have, or that you've already spent, you know, with your income.
Yeah, and get acquainted with what you can write off. Like a lot of people, they think, like, for example, a lot of people think that, say you live in Florida and you go out picking for the day, and you go out and you eat lunch, and you maybe you go lunch and dinner and you went picking all day. They think that you could just write that off. You can't write that off. There's a lot of things that people think you could write off for expenses that you necessarily can't. Like some people think, oh, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, I do business there, I could rent it all off. No, you could only rent it all off. Write off the portion that you're designated to your actual business. So my advice is, don't listen to me. I'm just a random guy on the internet. Get a CPA, get an accountant, and get acquainted with write-offs and depreciation of equipment and estimated tax and all that stuff, because it's a very big, it's a skill that you really want to learn, because like Tracy says, you don't want to be at the end of the year thinking that you're only going to pay this much money because you thought that was a write-off and this was a write-off and this and that was a deduction. I mean, hire someone for a couple $100, definitely. But yeah, I think that's about it. It's 8:08. I don't want to run any more time because I promised an hour, so I apologize going over a few minutes. But thank you so much for coming on, Tracy. And it's been a lot of fun. You guys, make sure to follow her. You can follow her on YouTube at Entrepreneur Girl, right? And I believe that's one word, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think if you look it up either way, you'll see me. But yes, Entrepreneur Girl, just one word.
And you also run the free Facebook group, Amazon 360 or 360 Amazon. I'm sorry.
Amazon 360.
Amazon 360. And your website, let's plug your website.
Is entrepreneurgirl.net.
She's all over the place. So thanks again. I don't know if you have any last words to the people who are watching.
I love you guys, and I'm glad you were here, and you just make what I do worth it. So thank you, and thanks, Steve, for having me. It's really nice to be with a fellow YouTuber and talking through all the issues.
Hey, I'm always down to hang out with people who are cooler than me. So anytime.
You had to get me at the end.
I had to. All
right, guys. Okay, you're cuter.
Oh. Now we gotta restart this whole show. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Go follow her, Entrepreneur Girl, YouTube, like, subscribe, show some love, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.
See you guys. Bye.